Welcome to Arsenal, where the weapons and war machines of military history come to life. Today, we explore the OV-10 Bronco over Vietnam in the 1960s and 1970s, and the crews and ground troops who depended on it. A longer version of this feature, with fact sheets and photos, is available in the print edition, on LinkedIn, or by email. You can also find more articles, podcasts, and resources at trackpads.com.
The Bronco comes into view over the central highlands just after first light, twin turboprops humming as it banks into a tight orbit. Below, a Special Forces-led patrol is pinned near a tree line that looks like every other patch of jungle for miles. The pilot leans forward, searching for the faint muzzle flashes that give away the ambush, while the observer in back works several radios at once. One radio carries the strained calm of the patrol leader. Another carries the voices of strike pilots waiting for a target mark.
What looks from the ground like a small, odd airplane suddenly becomes the center of a larger fight. The crew must confirm friendly positions, locate the enemy, talk the patrol onto the smoke mark, and clear in faster jets or artillery without putting friendly troops in danger. A smoke rocket leaves the wing, streaks into the jungle, and gives everyone a reference point. Arsenal is the Friday feature of Dispatch U.S. Military History magazine. In that tense orbit, the Bronco stitches together infantry, artillery, and aircraft before the engagement turns into chaos.
The reason an aircraft like this existed lies in the hard lessons of counterinsurgency and jungle warfare. Early in Vietnam, commanders relied on light liaison aircraft and converted trainers to observe, spot targets, and direct air support. Those aircraft could loiter, but they were fragile and lightly armed. Fast jets and heavy attack aircraft brought far more speed and payload, but they passed over the battlefield too quickly to sort out a small firefight under jungle canopy. Between those extremes, troops often needed an aircraft that could see, stay, talk, and strike.
For the United States Marine Corps, that need was especially sharp. Marine aviation was built around close cooperation with Marines on the ground, and scattered units along coastlines, rivers, and jungle valleys needed help close at hand. The Air Force and Navy had similar problems along supply trails, borders, and remote fire bases. The result was a requirement for a small, rugged, two-seat armed reconnaissance aircraft that could fly low and slow, operate from short, rough strips, survive small arms fire better than earlier spotter planes, and carry enough weapons to matter immediately.
North American Rockwell's answer was the OV-10 Bronco. Engineers gave it a high straight wing for lift and visibility, twin tail booms, a compact central fuselage, rugged landing gear, and twin turboprop engines that delivered good response at low altitude. It was not shaped to look sleek. It was shaped to take off from rough fields, orbit over a fight, and give a pilot and observer a clear view of the ground. The side sponsons carried machine guns and weapon stations for rockets or small bombs, making the Bronco both a watcher and a fighter.
Inside, the Bronco's purpose was obvious. The pilot sat high over the nose with a wide view forward and down, while the observer sat immediately behind with radios, navigation gear, maps, and call signs. Together, they managed conversations with troops, helicopters, jets, artillery, and headquarters, often while flying low enough for ground fire to reach them. Behind the crew, a small cargo bay could carry extra fuel, supplies, sensors, passengers, or casualties on stretchers. That flexibility let the aircraft serve as a liaison platform, resupply aircraft, evacuation option, and combat controller. Flying the Bronco well demanded constant teamwork. The pilot had to keep the aircraft slow enough for observation, but fast enough to remain controllable, all while judging terrain, weather, and enemy fire. The observer had to translate a confusing fight into language that every participant could use, whether that meant a patrol leader under pressure, a jet pilot arriving from miles away, or an artillery battery waiting for adjustment. In combat, the aircraft was less a single weapon than a communications node with wings. In Vietnam's small unit fights, the Broncos settled into a trusted pattern. A patrol, convoy, fire base, or South Vietnamese unit called for help, and a Bronco often arrived first from a nearby strip. The crew identified friendly and enemy positions, marked targets with smoke rockets, and either attacked with its own guns and rockets or guided jets and artillery onto the target. In larger operations, Broncos loitered over trail networks and border regions, watching for movement, coordinating strike packages, and keeping commanders informed as the fight changed below them. That persistence made the aircraft valuable, but it also made it vulnerable. Crews operated at the altitudes where they could see best, which meant they lived inside the range of rifles, machine guns, and light anti-aircraft weapons. Armor and redundancy gave them a better chance than earlier liaison aircraft, but concentrated fire could still bring a Bronco down. Its payload and speed were modest compared with heavy attack aircraft, so it could influence a firefight quickly, but could not replace fast jets, gunships, or bombers when larger targets had to be hit. Even with those limits, crews and supported troops valued the Bronco for what it did well. It could launch from rough forward strips, arrive quickly, circle patiently, and keep multiple parts of a battle connected. Infantry heard the turboprops overhead and knew someone was watching with radios, weapons, and authority to coordinate help. Maintainers appreciated its rugged construction and practical access points, which helped keep it flying from hot, dusty, improvised locations where more delicate aircraft would have struggled.
The Bronco evolved as missions changed. Later versions received improved radios, sensors, sighting systems, and night capabilities. Some naval and export aircraft were adapted for maritime work, border patrol, counterinsurgency, and internal security missions. Specialized equipment, including infrared sensors and laser designators, helped later Broncos spot and mark targets more precisely than the original Vietnam-era machines. The United States eventually moved on to other platforms, but the central idea of armed overwatch never disappeared.
Today, surviving OV-10 Broncos can be found in museums, base displays, and a few flying collections. Visitors can see the high wing, twin booms, side sponsons, and cockpit arrangement that made it such a distinctive tool of Vietnam-era air power. Its legacy is not raw speed or heavy payload, but coordination under pressure. Pilots, observers, maintainers, and ground troops depending on a compact aircraft to hold a small fight together. The Bronco reminds us that sometimes the most important aircraft is not the one that strikes hardest, but the one that stays long enough to understand what is happening below.